We're here with Toshio Rahman, who's the organizer of this conference, the 2008 Youth Darfur Conference. Why organize a conference like this? What was your intent?
Well, I went to school in Ottawa, and I found that whenever there were events relating to Darfur or politics or something of interest, a lot of people came out, a lot of youth especially came out, and they were very active in kind of their interests. And when I came here to Vancouver, I found that that activism and that motivation was there, but I don't think that there was a specific outlet for youth, especially to kind of do something. And Darfur is the worst humanitarian crisis at the moment, and I knew that youth would rally behind this as soon as possible. And so putting on a conference was, a great way of not only getting youth to participate directly, but also have advocacy work, have suggestions from academics, on what exactly they could do. And so far, it's been fantastic, and it's been playing out to role.
So once they do get these suggestions from all these advocacy groups and the academics, like we have guest speakers here today, what do you hope for the outcome? Where do we go from here after the conference?
Absolutely. My hope is that youth, through the first 3 quarters of the conference, kind of get an understanding of what's happening in Darfur right now, and that's the educational aspect. And then from the last quarter, that's where they'll learn what they can do. And I'm hoping they take that information and they actually apply it. One of our guest speakers, Clement Abbasapak, he's a very good youth speaker, and he talks about what youth exactly can do in terms of Darfur. And it can be as simple as donating your time to one of the organizations as a volunteer. It can be as simple as calling 1-800-GENOCIDE. Youth have a very powerful role in this issue right now, and we're trying to, through our post-conference package, which we'll hand out to delegates as well as our speakers, we're trying to let them know of what exactly it is they can do.
Okay, so you talked about your guest speakers a little bit. What was the response from those guest speakers when you were contacting them? Why did they want to be involved in something like this?
Absolutely. I mean, every one of them was more than happy to participate. They were, to me it seemed like they wanted us an event such as this to happen so they could get their individual perspectives and opinions out. Mr. Kailan Shaw, our first guest speaker, is from STAND, and I know STAND plays a very large role, and this is what they do. They're trying to get out to the youth and let them know what's happening. The Senator Mubina Jaffar, she was a special envoy to Sudan, so she's got a very knowledgeable perspective not only on that aspect, but she's also in the Senate as well, so she's a senator and she knows the Canadian politics and policies. Robert Fox is the executive director of Oxfam Canada, and I really wanted a humanitarian organization that works out of Darfur here so they could look at what exactly the mining process is and what the refugee situation is. And Clement's a good friend of mine, and he takes it upon himself to let youth know exactly what it is that youth can do. Usually you hear adults talking about issues like this, but when you hear it from the voice of someone that's similar to your age and background, it touches you so much more and it motivates you so much more.
All right, finally, you've got ties to Amnesty International. How have they helped in organizing this conference? And what are they doing to better the situation in Darfur?
Absolutely. Amnesty has been very supportive from the very first time I told my director, my coordinator, that I wanted to do this. He was on board. He provided supplies, sources, people, and even financial aid for this. And Amnesty takes more of a humanitarian role because of our organization, and we want the people of Darfur and the refugees especially to have the humanitarian aid brought onto them, but also have their human rights defended. And I was lucky enough I was actually privileged enough to go to Ottawa a couple of weeks ago for another reason, but I spoke with their lead person on Darfur there, and they're more than happy to support something like this, and they hope that youth really get involved because we need, as many organizations believe, youth involved in situations like this.
That was Toshio Rahman, the organizer of the 2008 Youth Darfur Conference. Thanks for doing this.
No problem. Thank you for having me.